According to a recent report by the Environmental Working Group, American babies are born with an average of how many contaminants in their bloodstream? 25, 57, 184, or 287? We'll talk with Ron Barris from JustGreenIt.net coming up next. 7:45, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. 7:53, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. About to wrap this up. George DeJohn, Train Station Fitness Show. Dr. Jeremy Webster with his input today about Just Green It with Ron Barris, who's on the show, talking about how to make your home green and also how to avoid wasting your money, basically, buying things that really are not green. They call it greenwashing. You can go to my website, 21daybodymakeover.com, and listen to the podcast. Or you can go to YouTube, put in 21 Day Body Makeover, and watch the show. If you feel like doing that, you can do that. I asked Ron this question. According to the recent report by Environmental Working Group, American babies are now born with an average of how many contaminants in their bloodstream? 25, 57, 184, or 287? Ron?
It's the higher number, 287.
287.
And unfortunately, the number is even been growing. So we really have to be careful what we're putting in our bodies, not just from the food we're taking in, which you talk about all the time, but really in our home as well.
Nasty petrochemicals like styrene and benzene and xylene, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Ron, I've got a couple questions for you.
I'd love for you to cover some natural cleaning supplies, but I have a question. Have you ever used or do you recommend soap nuts, or also known as soap berries?
I have not heard of that before.
Never heard of it? It comes from a tree or a little bush. Supposedly, you can put them in your wash, and it can basically take the place of laundry detergent. Just a natural cleaning supply. But what kind of stuff do you recommend for cleaning your home, cleaning your clothes, different things like that?
Or when we say cleaning, we can use it in a different way, meaning taking stuff out of your home, not necessarily cleaning it. Some people are not clean people, but what can they change in their home that's also cost effective, Ron?
That's cost effective. Well, that's real briefly on cleaning products. I mean, there's a lot of good products out there if you don't want to make your own, which I know a lot of people don't, obviously. Seventh Generation has a handful of products. They have a chlorine-free bleach that's really good. Seventh Generation also has Free and Clear. There's Mrs. Meyer's for all-purpose cleaners. Dishwashing detergent. Have you guys heard of BioClean? Have you heard of BioClean before?
I've not.
No.
Okay, that's a good one. And there's just really a lot of great examples out there of products that are readily available, and you don't have to look too hard to find them. And I think cleaning products in that area is really catching on in the marketplace. Just make sure you're looking for the appropriate certifications when you're buying those.
And what are those?
Well, I mean, simple ones we talked about, organic, things that, for those who are concerned with this, I know we're calling Texas, even the Leaping Bunny, if you want to make sure your product's not been tested on animals, that's a great certification.
What else can people do in their homes? We talked about the filters, anything to do with paint. There's people who build homes today that have a certain type of insulation, a certain thickness in it because it'll help them cut down their heating bills and electric bills altogether. Yet you have to live there for 35 freaking years for it to pay off. Same thing with solar. What else can people do if somebody's about to buy a home or build a home that will pay off sooner rather than having to stay there forever? Because it doesn't give much incentive to anybody, right? If you think about it, if something's going to cost $20,000 extra or $100,000 extra, and it takes a very long time to pay it off, what's their incentive to put that in their home if they're only going to be there 5 or 6 or 7 years?
Well, that's actually a good point. So that's why we empower consumers and people to really make decisions for their home, first from a health perspective that are cost effective. And there's some real simple things you can do. Some people think it's expensive, but literally choosing the right air purifier, put it in your bedroom because you spend literally a third of your time in there.
What is it?
What, air purifier?
Yeah, which one?
Oh, there's a lot of good examples of air purifiers. You have the Lowe's Idealis air purifier, the Sanyo Air Washer Plus is a great example, the HealthMate. Those are really good examples. You want to make sure you're choosing one that has the standard HEPA, which is getting more common now, but you also want to make sure it has good granular carbon to absorb these gases and so forth. And there's other aspects as well, but simply put, make sure it has a granular carbon or a zeolite formation, a combination with HEPA, and some of the really good ones are offering different technologies to suppress bacteria. For example, the Sanyo Air Washer Plus talks about uses electrolyzed water. The Idealist uses UV light.
Ron, we only have a few more seconds. Tell me about, how about purifiers for water? I had somebody named Lano Hawala, if I say his name correctly. He wrote a book called Don't Drink the Water, Water Specialist. And he talks about how 99% of the water purification products on the market today are absolutely crap. They don't do anything for you, or minimally, and it's not really going to make a big difference in your water in your house. Do you know of a filter, about 10-15 seconds, that will certainly help us with our water today we could put in our home? That's the best.
Well, I think he's wrong. I think any difference is a big difference. What he's saying is it doesn't completely remove out contaminants. Even a carbon-based filter, one like a Brita or a Pure, that's at least putting you a step in the right direction. But obviously it's better to have either reverse osmosis or vapor distilled water. That's going to take out more. But I'd much rather have a glass full of water with half the chemicals than a full load.
Good deal. Ron, thank you for joining us today. Go to Ron's website he and his wife Lisa have. It's called justgreenit.net for their book called Just Green It. Also his other website, greennest.com, and you can take the quiz on there for your home. Remember, we're not just trying to make the environment better, but how about the people you care about, yourself and others that you're living with, okay? Ron, thank you for joining us. We'll have you again here in the near future.
Thanks for having me. Take care.